We're surrounded by this hidden language. Seriously. It's on your phone, it's on your coffee cup, the websites you scroll through every single day. And it's powerful. It shapes what you buy, how you feel, and a lot of the time, you don't even notice it's happening. So today, we're going to decode that language. We're talking about the art and the science of graphic design.
Okay, so have you ever wondered why one movie poster just grabs you, right? While another one is totally forgettable? Or why the logo for one company feels super trustworthy and legit, but another one just feels a little off? Well, there's a reason for all that. And nope, it's not magic. It's design. So at its absolute core, graphic design isn't just about making things look pretty. That's a huge misconception. It's really about solving problems. Think of it as the art of visual communication. Taking all these pieces like text, colors, and pictures and arranging them just right to deliver a message that's absolutely crystal clear. All right, here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll get into what design really is. Then, we'll open up the Designer's Toolkit. After that, we'll go spotting design out in the wild, and we'll wrap up by looking at the AI revolution that is changing, well, pretty much everything. Let's dive in.
Okay, so let's get this out of the way right now. The single biggest myth about graphic design is that it's just about making things look pretty. It's not. Its real job, its purpose, is function. Great design is all about clarity and communication first. The beauty part, that comes second.
And this is a really important distinction to make. See, a graphic is just one piece, like an icon or a photo. But design is the thoughtful process of arranging all those little pieces to create meaning. I love this analogy. It's the difference between having a pile of bricks and actually building a house.
So how exactly do designers build that house? Well, they have a toolkit. And a great way to think about this toolkit is that it has two main parts. You've got your basic ingredients, and then you've got the recipes you use to put them all together.
So what are these ingredients? Well, they're the absolute fundamentals. We're talking about things like line, shape, texture, typography, space, and even form for 3D stuff. I mean, every single visual you've ever laid eyes on, from a movie poster to the icon for your favorite app, is built from some combination of these. They're like the atoms of visual communication.
But just having ingredients doesn't make you a chef, right? You need a recipe. And that's exactly what these design principles are. They're the rules, the system, for arranging all those elements in a way that actually works. So you use something like contrast to create emphasis, which then gives you a clear hierarchy. Or you use repetition to build a sense of unity, and alignment to make everything feel organized and structured.
Now, of all the tools in that kit, there's probably nothing more emotionally powerful than color. And it's not random at all. There's a whole science to it called color theory. It's basically the study of how colors mix, how they work together, and most importantly, how they make us feel.
And to control that emotional impact, designers don't just guess. They use proven color combinations. We call them harmonies. So if they want something with high energy and drama, they might go for complementary colors, which are total opposites on the color wheel. But for something calmer, more peaceful, they'll often pick analogous colors, which are right next to each other.
And yeah, colors absolutely carry their own psychological weight. Let's take red, for instance. Red is a total powerhouse. It just screams energy, love, passion, intensity. I mean, think about a stop sign or a big red sale tag. It's designed to jolt you and grab your attention right away.
Then on the complete other end of the spectrum, you've got blue. Blue is cool, calm, collected. It communicates stability and trust. And that's exactly why you see it everywhere for banks, big tech companies, and in healthcare. The color itself is literally part of the message of trust.
Okay, let's get a little technical for a second, because this is something every designer absolutely lives by. Graphics basically come in two main flavors, raster and vector. Raster graphics, like a photograph, are made up of tiny little dots called pixels. If you zoom in too far, they turn into a blurry mess. But vector graphics, what we use for logos and icons, are made from mathematical lines and shapes. You could scale a vector logo to be the size of a skyscraper, and it would stay perfectly crisp and clear. Super important difference. Okay, so we've got the theory, we've got the tools, but where does all this stuff actually show up in the real world? Let's step outside the classroom and go into the wild to see how all this actually shapes the world we live in.
And here's the thing. Once you start looking for it, you realize it's everywhere. And it's not just there by accident, it's purposeful. The logo on your cup, the layout of that app, the box your cereal came in,
Even the social media posts you're scrolling through, every single one was meticulously designed. It's basically the visual language of our entire modern world.
So when you boil it all down, when you combine all those elements and all those principles, what are you really doing? You're telling a story. That's the ultimate goal. Great design can communicate a feeling, a whole idea, or a story in a fraction of a second without you ever having to read a single word.
I mean, check out this example. A pizza place doesn't need to write, "Our pizza is hot and delicious." They just show you a picture of that perfectly melting cheese, and your brain does the rest. It tells the entire story of hot and tasty in a split second.
And it's the exact same thing for experiences. A travel company isn't going to write a whole paragraph about escaping your stressful life. Nope, they're just going to show you an image of a beautiful beach with some palm trees. Your brain instantly fills in the rest of the story. Holiday, warmth, relaxation. That right there is the power of visual storytelling.
All right, for our last section, let's talk about the future. Because artificial intelligence isn't some sci-fi concept anymore. It's a real, powerful tool that is completely shaking up the creative world for designers.
So, what's the most immediate impact of AI? Honestly, it's a massive boost in speed and efficiency. We're talking about maybe even doubling your creative output. By automating all the boring, repetitive tasks, AI basically becomes this hyper-efficient assistant. And that frees up the human designer to focus on the one thing that really matters: the big creative idea.
And in the real world, this means AI can do things like suggest entire color palettes just from a photo you upload. It can recommend fonts that look great together. It can automate super complex editing jobs that used to take hours of manual work. And for anyone learning design, it can give you instant feedback, which is just an incredible way to get better faster.
But of course, all this power and efficiency raises a really big, unavoidable question. If an AI is helping generate the ideas and do the work, what happens to human originality? And that right there is probably the central challenge for designers in this new creative age.
But the answer, at least for now, doesn't seem to be about replacement. It's about partnership. The future of design is probably going to be this amazing collaboration, where human creativity and vision are the ones guiding the incredible power and speed of AI.
And that leaves us with one last thing to think about. As these AI tools get smarter and smarter, and they get better at handling the how of design, what becomes the designer's most valuable skill? You know, the one thing that's uniquely human. Is it going to be taste? Is it storytelling? Or is it that creative problem solving? That's the big question that's going to shape the entire future of design.